Let me ask you something. You can't read for 15 minutes, but you can scroll TikTok for 6 hours. So you think you're lazy. You're not. Netflix and TikTok have billions of dollars of addiction engineering behind them. Your good habits? Zero. The game is rigged, but you can rig it back. Last time, we covered the first law. Make it obvious. You learned how to see your invisible habits and design your environment to work for you. But seeing a habit isn't the same as wanting it. Today, how to make yourself actually want to do the right thing. In the 1940s, a scientist named Nico Tinbergen discovered something bizarre about herring gulls. Baby gulls instinctively peck at a red spot on their mother's beak to get food. Tinbergen wondered, what if I make the red spot bigger? So he created fake beaks with giant red dots. The chicks went absolutely insane, pecking harder and faster than they ever would at a real beak. He'd created what scientists call a supernormal stimulus, an exaggerated version of reality that triggers a stronger response than the real thing. Now think about the world you live in. Junk food is a supernormal stimulus for your taste buds. Instagram is a supernormal stimulus for social connection. Pornography, video games, clickbait news, all engineered to be more attractive than anything our ancestors ever encountered. The modern world is full of exaggerated versions of natural rewards, and that's the second law of behavior change. Make it attractive. The more attractive an opportunity is, the more likely it is to become a habit. To understand why, we need to talk about dopamine. Most people think dopamine is the chemical of pleasure. You do something fun, dopamine goes up. But that's not quite right. In 1954, two neuroscientists, James Olds and Peter Milner, implanted electrodes into the brains of rats. They found a region that, when stimulated, made the rats feel incredible. The rats would press the lever over and over, hundreds of times per hour, refusing to eat, drink, or sleep. They literally chose pleasure over survival. But here's the key finding that came later. Dopamine isn't primarily released when you experience pleasure. It's released when you anticipate it. Your brain gets the biggest spike before the reward, not after. It's the wanting, the expectation, that drives you to act. That's why the notification sound on your phone is so powerful. It's not the message itself that hooks you, it's the possibility that it might be something exciting. Anticipation drives action, and that's the lever you need to pull. So how do you make good habits more attractive? James Clear suggests a strategy called temptation bundling. Here's the idea. Link an action you need to do with an action you want to do. A college student named Ronan Byrne wanted to exercise more, but loved watching Netflix. So he hacked his stationary bike to connect to his laptop. Netflix would only play if he was pedaling at a certain speed. Stop pedaling. Screen goes dark. He made the habit he needed to do the gateway to the reward he wanted. You can do the same thing with habit stacking. The formula becomes, after I do the habit I need, I will do the habit I want. After I finish my workout, I can check social media. After I write for 30 minutes, I can have my favorite coffee. After I review my flashcards, I can watch one episode. You're not eliminating the reward. You're using it as fuel. But attraction isn't just about rewards. It's also about people. In the 1960s, a Hungarian man named Laszlo Polgar set out to prove that genius isn't born. It's made. He and his wife raised their 3 daughters to be chess prodigies. They homeschooled them, immersed them in chess from toddlerhood, and created a family culture where chess was the most celebrated activity. The result? All 3 became world-class players. Judith became the youngest grandmaster in history at age 15. Were they naturally gifted? Maybe. But more importantly, they grew up in an environment where being great at chess was the norm. It was the family identity. And that's the key. We imitate the habits of 3 groups: the close, the many, and the powerful. Your family, your friends, your culture. We want to fit in. When a habit earns us approval, belonging, and status, it becomes incredibly attractive. So the most effective thing you can do? Join a group where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. Want to read more? Join a book club. Want to get fit? Train with people who are already fit. When your habit is aligned with the tribe, It stops feeling like effort. One last tool, reframing. You can make any habit more attractive by changing how you think about it. Instead of, I have to go to the gym, say, I get to go to the gym. Say, I have to wake up early. Say, I get to wake up early. Say, I get to wake up before the world does. Instead of, I need to save money. Say, I'm building my freedom. A subtle shift, but it turns a burden into an opportunity, and that changes everything. You can see it, you want it, but if it's too hard to start, you still won't do it. Next time, the 2-minute rule. The simplest idea in this entire book, and honestly, the one that changed my life the most. That's it for this episode. If you're curious, I'll see you in the next one. And if you want the full deep dive, LitNotes has the complete audio summary. Links right below.